going on, guys? Today, Bri and I are gonna show you what is in our camera bags with special guest, Bella. She's been kind of snorting around, so if you hear little pig noises, that is Bri's beautiful Shih Tzu. So Bri and I are both full-time landscape photographers. I as well am a time-lapse cinematographer and filmmaker. We've been traveling for the last 5 years or so, full-time through photography and filmmaking. So today we just want to kind of do a deep dive into our camera bags, show you guys our gear, what we use the most, and all that stuff. Bella. Aw, you're so cute.
What is going on, everyone? So today we're going to show you what's in our camera bags. I'm going to go ahead and go first, so then Kevin will follow. So first things first, I do not use an actual camera bag.
You what?
This is just kind of like a hiking / backpacking pack that happens to fit all of my things in it. I personally am like a very small human, and I've found that no backpack anywhere that I've probably tried like 6 or 7 bags, like fits my body frame as far as hiking goes. It's just uncomfortable and it hurts my back, and so I use this bag with F-Stop brand, which is a camera bag brand, insert kind of guy. So that's how it is all protected. And then I put this into this Gregory pack that I got at REI. So that's what goes in first. Most importantly, the A7 III with the 1635 G Master lens on it. Excellent lens, favorite lens probably. That's not true, I like the 7200 too, but first is this. And then usually I have a polarizer on here for like water reflections and like glares and stuff like that.
What brand?
It's Tiffin. 82 millimeters circular polarizer. So this goes in. All right, and this 7200 2.8 G Master is like my actual baby. I love this thing so much. I use it a ton. It makes for super fun compressed shots, like cool wildlife photos. But it's amazing. It really gives a unique perspective when you're shooting in like wild landscapes and stuff. So this is in my bag, always. And this little guy is an extra purchase, but it actually goes onto the 7200 lens. I think it also goes onto the 100 to 400 millimeter lens as well. It's basically a teleconverter and it magnifies it 2 times. So this 7200 turns into a 140 to 400 millimeter lens. It does lose a couple stops, so instead of a 2.8, I think it's only a 5.6, which kind of sucks for low light, but it's kind of fun if you need that extra focal length. So I'll show you how this goes on. Just take the lens off like you normally would, and then this part goes on, and this just twists onto here. And then the back end of the teleconverter goes on your camera like your normal lens would. All right, and as always, we have a few extra batteries, spare batteries, because you never know when you might run out. I actually have Wasabi brand still because I have not done the Sony update. Kevin needs to have the Sony brand.
She got all my old batteries because I had like 6 Wasabis, so she's got all those and some Sonys.
Wasabi brand it's an off brand, obviously it's called Wasabi, but it's a battery and it's a lot cheaper. So I have a few of those. I also put stickers on mine so no one tries to steal them from me.
If you didn't catch that, she's blaming me.
Never know. Filters. So I actually just found this brand off Amazon a couple of years ago. I really like it. No complaints. Right here I have a variable ND filter. I don't use this too much because it has a lot of intense vignetting when I do use it. So I just kind of have this with me at all times though, in case I do. So here's that. I think it's a 10 stop variable ND. And then this is the moneymaker. This is a UV filter. Like 5 years ago when I got my first camera, the guy at our camera shop that we go to, he's amazing. He pretty much told me always have a piece of glass covering your lens, just like an extra layer of protection. This UV filter costs maybe 20 bucks, and I can tell you right now it's a heck of a lot cheaper than replacing a $2,500 lens. So keep this on your camera always. Here is literally such a game-changing filter. It's my ND1000. And pretty much if you see long exposures of waterfalls, like super moving like clouds during the daytime, this is what you need. It pretty much blocks out the ton of, what does it do?
It just makes your lens so dark, so you can crank your shutter. Pretty
much, it's like blackout curtains for your lens, so you can get long exposures. You can get like 25-second exposures with this during the day, which is pretty crazy. I didn't know about this until like year, I don't know, like 2 into photography, and it's a game changer because I always wondered how people got long exposures during the daytime because mine was always like a white screen. So get this, especially if you go to Iceland. All right, Kevin, bless his soul, he gave me his old Mavic Pro 1 because he upgraded to the Mavic 2. So yes, perks of dating Kevin Eassa.
Get out of here.
So this guy will go in here. I don't fly too much. It kind of gives me anxiety, but I have one. So that goes in here along with the remote. And I have a bunch of extra batteries too. And then this fits in the bag as well. So let's fold that flap up of the f-stop insert, and then I loosen up top. Getting in and out of the bag is not the easiest thing or most convenient, but to me, the pros outweigh the cons with this thing because I can hike longer and further and better in it. So yeah, the front opens up still, and then so does the top. All right, and last but not least, my tripod. I'm filming at my brother's house, and I have a niece and a nephew over here. The niece who is 1.5, and I hear a meltdown going on in case you do too. As I was saying, this is a ProMaster tripod. I don't always bring it, but I usually decide like before we hike, and depending on like what hike we're going to be doing, like if you're hiking in the middle of the day with no waterfalls, no stuff like that, like you don't need one, in my opinion, to each their own. But yeah, I got this like 4 years ago. I need a new one. It's held up pretty good. It's kind of a pain to like undo, but it's really sturdy. When it's all set up, it's actually taller than I am if it's all fully extended, which is kind of funny.
All right, what's up guys? So I'm gonna kind of just follow suit with the rest of the gear. So I have the f-stop Loca bag. I've transitioned over a handful of bags over the years, but my cousin sold me this one used, and it's an awesome bag. We hear the meltdown going on, so just gonna continue. So just gonna show you a few things in the bag before I kind of grab all this stuff in. But it opens from the back, which is really nice because when I'm wearing the bag, I don't need to worry about security or anything like that. So I open it up, and in here I have like my passport, lens cleaning cloths, things like that. In here I have additional memory cards and stuff like that. And in these 2 little pockets, I have like coins and things for tightening like the Ronin and stuff like that. And then my f-stop insert opens up, and I've got all these compartments in here, which is super nice. I have our tickets from our train the other day. And then it also opens up from the top, which is nice. So when the f-stop insert is fully packed, I have quite a bit of room up here. And this kind of just sits on top. So back in here is my laptop sleeve behind the f-stop. And in here is where I kind of put spare batteries and things like that. And then up in this top pocket is things like tape for when we're hiking, life straw, napkins, things like that, non-camera related. And for those of you that don't know, f-stop is like a pretty good camera bag. It's pretty pricey, and pretty much everything in the bags are sold separately, which is pretty freaking annoying. So the inserts that we both have been talking about are sold separately than the actual pack itself. So yes. All right, so first up, I also have the A7 III Sony full frame camera, and also have the 1635 G Master. So Bri right now is filming with her A7 III 1635 G Master and our Rode mic that we just kind of share and keep on one camera body. So I have essentially the exact same setup, also with a tip-in polarizer right here. It's just a good, reliable brand that Bri and I have been using over the years. So that's my first camera body. I started with the A6000, was my first camera. Then I had the A7 II, and then I upgraded to the A7 III, I think maybe 6 months to a year after it came out. And I've been using it since. It's an incredible camera. I think it's probably the best camera on the market that is a hybrid for photo and video. Just does everything I need it to. So next up, I have the Sony A7R III. I picked this up, I wanna say 6 months ago or something around that range, kind of halfway through COVID to now at least. And this is, I would say, probably like the ultimate photographer's camera. I do so much photo and video, so the 3 is amazing, but I specifically got this for commercial prints and even more specifically 8K time-lapse films. So when I create my time-lapse films on the 3, I'm able to create 5K time-lapse films, but that just gets rendered down to 4K. But with the A7R III, I'm able to create 8K time-lapse films, which I kind of just think that's where content and photography is headed. So I kind of just want to get ahead of the game with my time-lapse films, take them up another level. So that's the main reason that I bought this. So next up, I have my 85mm 1.8 lens with another Tiffin circular polarizer on it. I love this lens. I think it is incredible for portraits, for compression landscape shots, for close-up time-lapse photography. It's really good at night and stuff when I'm shooting like conferences or events. So I really like this lens, and the 1.8 is really nice in low light. And one more note just on lenses. So right here, this is kind of as our camera bags were today. We wanted to show you what kind of lives in our bags. At my house, I have two 28-70 kit lenses. I have a Rokinon 14mm lens, but I never use those. I don't really like any of them. I really love my 1635 G Master, the 85 1.8, and Bri lets me use her 7200 enough that we kind of have all of our bases covered. So those other lenses kind of just sit at home, don't really use them. I would sell them if someone wants to buy them. If you do, actually, let me know in the comments.
Hit us up.
All right, so next up is filters. So you saw the ones on our cameras, they kind of live there. But you know, Tiffin filters and also the ND1000 filter. I think I have a different brand than Bri. Mine is by Lens Skins. I just found it on Amazon, same as Bri. But yeah, it's amazing for landscape photography, really nice long exposure photography for any time of the day. So that's a super cool thing to have.
Also guys, the ND1000 is cool because if you're in a really crowded, say like tourist attraction, like the Colosseum in Italy or something, you can like put it on your camera and do a long exposure and it'll like take the people out of it since it's a long exposure. It's really cool, so you don't need to jack around in Photoshop or worry about all those annoying people with their selfie sticks when you're trying to get your photo.
And also, you know, with all of our filters and our setups, you know, Bri and I have a lot of very similar equipment, but it's because we're very much interested in the same style of photography, same type of photography. We're both big hikers, big outdoors people, a lot of travel stuff. So that's kind of why we have some overlapping equipment, which normally we could share as we do with some of our equipment, but it gets really tough when we're both always wanting to shoot. So that's why we have some overlapping stuff. All right, like Bri said, it's always good to have backup batteries. The A7 III and R3 have amazing battery life. It's the NPFZ100 battery. Like I said, I used to shoot on the A7 II, and the battery life on that feels like 30 minutes, where on this it's like all day, sometimes multiple days in a row with one battery. So these are really amazing, but still, you know, if we're out for a while, we're shooting all day and night, or backpacking or something like that, it's really key to have extra batteries. Just have some extra 128 gigabyte memory cards. So all of our cameras are dual slots. So I have 2 memory cards in each of my cameras. Bri has 2 memory cards in each of hers. And for the most part, that will last Bri a super long time. She's not doing much video on her camera. And for my 3, it'll last a really long time. But the R3 eats up so much memory with the 42 megapixels. So I have so many of these on deck. I just pulled out 3 for the video, but I have so many memory cards in this bag, kind of between these 2 pockets, but just pull these out so you guys can see. All right, and I have got the Mavic 2 Pro And on the lens itself, I have I believe it's the Polar Pro ND4 filter. I have the really big Polar Pro pack with all the NDs and polarizers and stuff like that. But the one that lives on the drone most of the time is the ND4. It's a super awesome filter for the drone, and for the most part kind of handles all the lighting situations I'm shooting. And the Mavic 2 was an awesome upgrade because the gimbal is much stronger. The megapixels went from 12 to 20, which was super nice. And it just is a huge upgrade in dynamic range, hyperlapses, a bunch of other features, but use this almost as much as I'm using my cameras. And then that also has the controller, which is super similar to the Mavic 1, but the actual joysticks or whatever they're called come out and they're in here. So that's super convenient for packing. They're not sticking out or anything like that. And I did buy the Fly More combo, so that's why I've got, you know, the extra 2 batteries, and I've got a drone bag just like the one Bri was showing you guys, but it kind of lives in the van just because this fits nicely into my bag. So this is the Mi Photo tripod. I'm not sure the model number, the A1350 road trip aluminum tripod. This is incredible. For so many years, I used those super cheap Walmart Best Buy tripods for like 30 bucks. And to be honest, they did an amazing job. They lasted through a lot of beatings and stuff, but it was finally time to upgrade. So I think I got this like a year and a half ago maybe. I think it's in the $160 to $200 range, but it's really nice and small for packing and travel. And then these flip down and lock into place. And then these extend just like Bri's, and it gets super tall. It has all of these, which gets your kind of camera and composition exactly how you'd like it. So I really like this tripod if you're looking for one, and it fits nicely on the side of my bag. That tripod is awesome for long exposures, astrophotography, if I'm shooting interviews or stuff like that. It's super awesome, but I almost always have it even if I'm not shooting that stuff, solely because I'm shooting so many time lapses. All right, so these are all the parts for the Ronin SC. This is an incredible camera stabilizer. So it links on like that, locks into place here, and then this bottom part just screws on. And then this is really nice because these come out and they can rest pretty much on anything. And this stays super kind of well put, and I don't have to worry about it getting damaged or anything like that. And I don't have to deal with putting this whole thing in my bag. So I essentially just take all of these in their parts and then just kind of fit it in my camera bag as it goes. And I do use this for commercial work and stabilized video, but I use it more so for time lapses, and the reason I bought it was for time lapses. So I can essentially set up keyframes on the Ronin app and get slider time lapses up and down, you know, diagonal, kind of whatever creative way you want to get with it. So this is a super awesome tool for time lapse photography. I almost forgot, so this is actually the mount for the Ronin. So you have this small camera mount right here, and then this kind of just raises it so the lens isn't hitting any part of the stabilizer. Every photographer should have this. It is just a blower, so if your sensor gets dirty, if you know there's something you need to blow off, you can be super careful and kind of just blow off any dust or anything like that that gets on your sensor. Or if water droplets get on your lens or filter, you can kind of come in from the side and get that, which is also nice. Always have a pair of headphones. To be honest, I normally have like 3 pairs of headphones in this, but yeah, some nice Bluetooth headphones that Bri got me. And I've got the GoPro Hero 8. That is kind of always in my camera bag. Bri has a GoPro 5, I have a GoPro 5, I have a DJI Osmo Action, but none of those ever live in our bag because, you know, to be honest, the Hero 8 is our favorite of all of them and we don't really need more than one. And then I have all of the knickknacks for the GoPro, every single mount you could possibly think of, underwater filters, all that stuff that lives in the van. I don't use them that often, so if I do, I just grab it from the van when I need it. So as photographers and filmmakers, we accumulate so much equipment. So there's a lot of stuff that we didn't show that kind of just lives at Bri's house, my house, or whatever. But what we did show you guys today is everything we use on an everyday shooting basis. So all the stuff that we didn't include is because it's not that important to us. We really just wanted to show you the essentials.
Also, on that note, that is not like our hiking packs because we have like 2-liter water bladders, like a bunch of first aid stuff as far as hiking goes. We actually have a video on it of what we packed for a 22-mile hike.
Check that over here.
Right, so there's that as well.
And also, every hike is different, you know, from the water bladders to helmets, to axes, to extra jackets. Every hike is subjective to what's in our pack, but this is our main camera equipment.
Yes, so hope you guys enjoyed and go buy some Sony stuff.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for either of us about our equipment or anything like that, just kind of leave it in the comments. And if you could, like and subscribe.
See ya.
See ya.